OEMS platform. Before we begin, there's a disclosure to share with you. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Nothing presented today should be construed as investment advice or recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security or contract. Since we don't know everyone's investment objectives or risk tolerance, we are not endorsing any specific trading strategies. Security, derivative, and futures trading involves a substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Each investor must consider whether this is a suitable investment, since you may lose all of or more than your initial investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Lightspeed is a division of Lime Brokerage, LLC. Lime Brokerage, LLC is not affiliated with these third-party market commentators, educators, or service providers. Data, information, and material are provided for informational and educational purposes only. This content neither is nor should be construed as an offer, solicitation, or recommendation to buy or sell any securities or contracts. Any investment decisions made by the user through the use of such content is solely based on the user's independent analysis, taking into consideration your financial circumstances, investment objectives, and risk tolerance. Lime Brokerage LLC does not endorse, offer, nor recommend any of the services or commentary provided by any of the market commentators, educators, or service providers, and any information used to execute any trading strategies are solely based on the independent analysis of the user. Now that that is done, we will turn the webinar over to Joe Wilczysnki from Cboe Global Markets.
Hello, thank you very much. I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar today. Before we get started, I do want to apologize if there is any loud background noise. My desk is here on the floor at the Cboe, so if that is an issue, someone just please give me a chat, and I could try and see what I can do. But just to get started, a quick little background on Silexx, just so everyone knows. Silexx is a multi-asset class trading platform. So we do equities, options, and futures, US only at this time. It's about an eight-year-old software. The company was started about 9 years ago and developed, and then recently was purchased by the Cboe about a year ago. So we, even though we are owned by the Cboe, we are an exchange neutral as well as a broker neutral platform. So you're able to trade, any kind of option or equity or futures that you would like through any exchange, as well as the Cboe. All right, so I'm just going to go through some of the cosmetics here before we get into the functionality. Like most other systems you've probably used, very customizable on all of the different modules. As you can see, I can move them around. You can scatter them around among multiple monitors, and then save them for an easy layout for when you log in the morning and log out at night. We do have multiple modules that can float freely, as you can see here. We have quite a few. And then you can also have some in this tab view window here where we have a more limited number that you can have. So you can have multiple of, say, portfolios if you want to have different portfolios and things like that. The main tab window up here is sort of the main engine. So this is where you would select the module, do settings here. You can do all kinds of different default settings that you like. So everything is sort of done through this main engine here, and this is where you would click to log off at the end of the day. And then we'll just go right into sort of what some of these particular modules are. So here I have an order book. For this is going to show my live orders as well as my executed or canceled. I have a portfolio of all my holdings. I have a risk radar here where it's going to show me sort of where my opportunities lie or where my biggest risk may be. Here I have a option chain window, and then down here I have a chart, and then here I have free floating of the order book once again, earnings and dividends window here, and then the depth window here, level 2. So here I have a quote board, and the way that these windows sort of interact with each other, we use color codes here. So as you can see, I have a green box checked here on this watch list, and then I have a green box here on this depth ticket. So whenever I select one of the futures or equities that I have listed here, it's going to automatically populate into this depth ticket here. And then this is where I can then go ahead and place the parameters of the trade that I want to make. So this just being a stock order, very simple. You can click on a bid for a price. You can click on an ask, or you can set it yourself or have a default if you like. You could have a default setting here, or you can put in what number of shares you want to buy or sell, and then you could set the increments. Here I just have them at 100. And then I can go ahead and let me just put an order in away from the market. I do apologize since the market is closed. My demo is live data, so it might not be interacting exactly how it would during the day. But if I go ahead and put an order in, as you see here in the death ticket, my order is going to show. And then the way I can manage this would be the same whether it is equities, option, or a future ticket. I can go ahead and change the order a few different ways. I can modify the price. So I can bump it up to, let's say, just 69 cents. I hit modify, now it's 69. I can modify the amount, now it's 200. Or if I just want to go ahead and quickly move it up and down, as you can see here, I have these arrows I can click up or down to quickly modify. If you take a look at the price over here and up here, I'm at 69 now. I could just click it down. I'm at 68, 67, and so on. So very easy way to sort of move the orders up and down. You can have multiple orders in. So if I want to go ahead and have a couple orders that I'm working, you can see here. To change these, I then would have to highlight which one I wanted to bump up or down, as I show here. And then you can easily cancel by just hitting the X right there, or you can cancel bids or cancel offers as well. So this works pretty well, especially with equities and also in the future. So the same thing, if I have a futures contract here that I want to look at, I can go ahead and select that as well, put the price in, quantity, and then as you can see, let me just bump it up so you can see it better. There you go. I have my order here, and I can work it the same way as I did the stock order. Another way to change the orders and work them are down in the order book, or up here I have as well. So here I see the open orders. I can go ahead, I can change the quantities by just clicking. I can change the price as well. And go ahead, change this too. And then all these confirmation windows you'll see throughout, I just have them turned on, but you can have them on or off. A lot of people like just have them on as sort of a safeguard, if you will, for not factoring an order. So pretty straightforward as far as the order entry goes for working, let's just say a single stock or a future. And then the same goes with a option contract as well. So I'll go into detail about the chain, but I just want to show the quick single leg ability. So here, once again, green on green, I just select a contract, and then it's all going to populate, and then I would set all the parameters like I did for the order, like I did with the equity and future. And then I can also work that order the same way in the order book if I like. So down here, I have an open order here, and this is where I can change the price or the quantity. So a lot of that functionality, I'm sure everyone's seen before. There are a few things, though, that do sort of make Silexx stick out amongst some of the competitors, but that's particularly in the option space. So if you look at the option chain here, there's a lot of different colors, as you can see. But what we have the ability to do is quickly create multi-leg option orders. So if, for instance, here I have SPX, I can select this contract. Actually, this is expiring. Let's go here. I can select the contract here, go buy or sell, and you see we have already calculated the strategy for you. So I can select butterfly, and then this order ticket pops up here. This is a complex order ticket. And there's many different things I can do from here. I can make adjustments on any of the single legs. I can adjust the quantity. I can adjust the expiration. I can adjust the strike. I can adjust the type, and so on, if you want to do more of a custom strategy. So you can change any one of the legs. I can then, or I can actually reverse. So you see here, reversing the order. That comes in handy when maybe you're buying or selling the close. I can flip call or put, or I can clear, or I can even add a leg. So I can go ahead and put in different parameters here. And then to send the order out, you can go ahead and select a price here. We auto calculates like a low, mid, and high. You can then adjust the debit or credit. Obviously, green is going to be debit. And then here we will give you the net delta and the net debit, and then the order will go out. And I have an open order down here. Let me just go ahead and put a buy order in for execution. So now I have an executed order. And you can see when the orders are executed, we do list them. The description is under the specific strategy. So I have 2 butterflies, an iron condor, another butterfly down here. And then you can also, if you want to take a look, you can populate that spread and then get a look at what your fill average was on each leg. So that was just really showing the quick ease of use for creating and sending out a complex option order. There are other ways to do it. We have the ability to sort of have a blank canvas here and a complex order ticket. And then you would just select the contracts you want to buy and sell. So if you want to buy, you drag in the ask. If you want to sell, you drag in the bid. You can create a custom strategy or do your own, verticals or butterflies, etc. So you're able to do that manually through the complex order ticket here. And then one thing that really helps a lot of people out when you're doing multiple strategies to sort of keep track of your strategies, what you're able to do is when you're going and creating, say, a butterfly here. So here we have October 5th butterfly. I can, before the order is placed or even after, I can go ahead, I can add this to my favorites. So I can call this October 5th butterfly. So what I just did here is I saved this ticket, so I can go ahead, execute this order. So now I have a position, but if here I can see it in the order book, but what happens at the end of the day is when the files are delivered to the clearing firm, and then the next morning when they're delivered back, the strategy doesn't come in composed as a butterfly or as a condor. You're just going to get a whole list of the individual legs, which is fine for a lot of people. But in the case where if you want to keep sort of, like a nice, list of what you're working with, you go back to the favorites here. I can go to my complex order ticket, go pull up this October 5th butterfly. I can go ahead, reverse it, and then send this out, and this is going to close that particular strategy that I have. Another form of managing your option strategies is through our basket trader. So the basket trader can be used in many different ways. I can upload a whole portfolio of stocks or options or futures through a spreadsheet and then work the orders individually, or I can pull up my whole portfolio within Silexx into this one order ticket and work individually or send all out at the same time. But what you can also do, if you take the basket trader here, and if you look at the order book, so I have an iron condor that I executed, I can click and drag that into the basket, and I can drag the other ones that I've executed. And then what this allows me to do, I can save this basket, and then the next day I'm able to pull this exact basket up. It's almost just like a consolidated version of the individual ticket that I just saved as favorites. And you're able then to, you can once again do the same. I can reverse the sides then to buy, sell or buy the close, or you can, add or subtract legs. You're also able to build the strategies by the clicking and dragging, like I did with the ticket before. I can drag and drop on top of each other, as you see here. So I just created a spread here, and I can work it as well. And that's through the basket trader. The other main feature and function in regards to the options trading is the analytic tool. So before I go and buy or sell a particular strategy that I'm looking at, I can create the ticket, and then I can go and show this in Position Analyzer. So what this is going to do, it's going to show me a few things. So here's the underlying price. The green, this is tracking the net P&L. I can adjust that to current P&L, delta, gamma, theta, vega, rho. And then the green is going to show me what it is current at the underlying price. The white is what it would be at expiration. And then you can do an even deeper dive on the analytic of this by adding or subtracting legs. So you can sort of see how it would affect if you were to add or remove a leg. So you can even, once again, click and drag and sort of see what would happen if you were to make any changes. And this is going to populate only of the specific underlier. It won't be able to take other options from other underliers or equities. You're also able to do that post-trade. So if you go to the portfolio and you see here I have some SPX contracts, I just select one, and then I go to Analyze Positions for SPX, and it's going to pull up all the contracts that I have. I have a lot more because I have multiple accounts on here, but as you can see, once again, and then I can do the same thing that I was doing before by just sort of taking a look at what would happen if I were to add or subtract specific legs. Some other features on the option chain here. So you see these little icons that we have here. Obviously, green is long and red is short. So this means I have some kind of a long-short position under this month. Same here. And then when you populate it, you'll see the exact contracts that I have. So here I have 3 puts and 1 call. I'm sorry, short 3 calls and long 1 put, or sorry, short 2 calls and long 1. And then that's position. Here I have the open order. You'll see buy or sell. And then you'll see here it's dark green and dark red. But once that enters the best bid offer, it will turn brighter green and brighter red, so you can sort of track your live orders through the option chain as well. And then if you have a bunch of different positions scattered out through different months under one specific underlier, you can sort or filter very easily by show strikes with positions. So that's just going to show you the only strikes here that you have positions in. And then you can also show weeklies and monthlies, as you can see I'm showing here. And then as far as the layouts go, there are many different columns that you can choose from. So any window that you see on Silexx, you're able to click on the column here, and then the new columns will pop up, the additional ones that you can use. And it's very easy to add or subtract them. You can just click and drag in, and if you don't want anymore, you can click and drag out. And I always recommend making any changes. I always want to save your layout so you don't lose any work that you've done. And then we have also these quick layouts that work very well. So here I have, especially with the Greek data, we have plentiful Greek data. So here I can go ahead, select that. So now I can see delta, gamma, theta, vega, theo. And then once again, I could add or subtract what I want to see, or I can move it around, sort it around. So you can get a nice layout that you can use. And then you can even, like I said before, you can have multiple chains, so you can just maybe have one set up one way, another set up the other way, and you can toggle back and forth. This one's a little more simple. This one has a lot more data that you might want to look at. And then we also have data up here for as far as tracking Greek data. And then once again, you go into the portfolio. We have quick layouts too. So you can, there's the Greek here. Maybe you just want to see your exposure. And then just like I showed in the other window, I can add or subtract multiple additional columns. So there's a lot of information to go through, just like most other systems. But once you sort of get a good idea of what you need and how to track things, we're also here to help build pages and walk people through anything that they might need or have questions about. So here's in the portfolio window, we'll go a little more in depth here. So I'm able to track P&L. I know that's very important. Day P&L, net P&L, current, etc. We also have the ability to take a look at buying power and things like that. You can then you can sort by symbol. You can do custom symbols. So if you have a large portfolio, there's many different ways that you can sort things and sort of create layouts that can easily work for you for quick access. Here you can easily sort your largest quantity to your lowest, vice versa. Exposure as well. And then once again, as you can see here, I can easily have this selected. I can click on GE, and I can have a ticket ready to go here to place the order. Or if I want, I can hit Control All, right click, and then open my whole portfolio in the basket that I showed earlier. And then you can go ahead and send these orders out individually at the market, or you can go ahead and set different limits if you want. And then you can send those out. So sort of the next step off of the portfolio is the risk radar, which we refer to as sort of the portfolio on steroids. So what this does many things, but sort of the main view, it's going to give you an aggregate view of your account here on top. And then here, once again, it's going to be tracking multiple different calculations. We have the P&L. Here we have the haircut requirement. We have premium, net stock, net call, net put. And then it's sort of like the analyzer that I showed, but more in a file format. This is going to give you a view of what the impact would be, sort of a stress test, shock value, if the whole portfolio were to drop 3%, 6%, or raise 3% or 6%. You're able to adjust the percent steps very easily by just clicking here. So I can just have 1% steps, or I can adjust them to 10, whatever I really would like. And then if you have options in the portfolio, you're able to adjust volatility to see how it would affect if volatility would increase. We have different calculations here on the implied vol fitted at the money and option implied. So this is on the aggregate level. You're able then to select the account. As you can see down here, it's going to pull up all of the individual holdings that I have. So just give me a second here. Whether it's stocks or options, I'm going to be able to sort of break down exactly what I have, and then take a look at what the effect would be. So here you're able to, let's just say, let me adjust this back, 2%. I can easily click and see, okay, this is my biggest exposure here at Facebook. If I had a percent drop, or if I had a percent increase. So it gives you a really good sort of quick view of where you stand as opposed to exposure and risk. That helps you then make decisions that you need. This product sometimes is sold as a standalone product to broker-dealers just to monitor all of their clients' trading. So it's a very powerful tool that does come with the Silexx Pro version. And then, really, going through all the different things that you can use the system for, like I said before, equities, options, futures. The strengths, the big strengths, obviously leaning in the option space, but it's a great platform if you are also trading, a couple different asset classes. It works very well together. We have a couple different versions. We have a basic version, which does not include the risk radar, charting, baskets, or analytics. Then we have a pro version, which gives you everything that you see here. And we're able to do some customizable work. We have a very rich API as well. So we have a lot of clients who you can connect API, sending orders through the system, seeing everything here on the front end, and then feeding the data back to whatever API that you might have. And I will tell you this, being here, I've been with the company a little over 2 years. All of the help and the tools that we have here, we have different tutorials and manuals, are very up to date, very helpful. The system is being a younger software, like I said, of 8 to 9 years. It's very clean. So once you sort of get your hands on it, there's not, if any, useless information on the system. Everything works very well. It works. You can sort it out. You can save and create. So it's a very easy system to use and learn, which helps a lot. And then, like I said before, we have a service desk and myself that helps individuals, sort of figure out the system and get comfortable and walk through when needed.
Joe, thanks for your time this afternoon. We greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
If anyone needs for more information on a demo of the Cboe Silexx platform and opening an account with Lightspeed, a division of Lime Brokerage, you can contact sales@limebrokerage.com. So thanks, Joe. We greatly appreciate it, and everyone have a great night.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.